Hi, everyone. Welcome. Sorry we're a few minutes late. I had technical difficulties. My name is Wendy Sachs, and I am a member of the board at Plant Powered Metro New York. And I'm welcoming you here to our summer web series with Chef Carole. Plant Powered Metro New York is a community-based organization committed to our collective health empowerment through whole food, plant-based nutrition, which is an evidence-based approach to nutrition that can prevent, treat, and even reverse chronic illness. We've been offering a wide range of online programs since March, and while we always look forward to meeting you in person, that may be a while. We prefer to build community in person, but we're doing so online with programs like these, and it's a great way we get to share the message. And just so you know, there's plenty of resources on the ppmny.org website and a library of these cooking series, so you can avail yourself of those when you like. Okay, so today we've got Chef Carole, our beloved Chef Carole, and we're going to do what we usually do, which is Carole will demonstrate for about 45 minutes. We'll probably go a little bit over 6 o'clock, and then we'll take questions in the chat, and we'll have time afterwards to ask Carole directly. I'll take them from the chat. Chef Carole, what do you have for us today?
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Lynn. And sorry that we're starting late. We did, many of us had technical problems with the link. So today we're making Vietnamese spring rolls. And I'm really excited about doing this because it's something that kind of looks it is so beautiful. And when you bring them to a party and people say, wow, you went all out of your way. And I really just want to show that it's accessible to everyone and how easy it is. There is some work, some prep work that goes into it. There's also a lot of videos. Like, this is not something I've invented. It's not my recipe. It also has a lot of flexibility, this recipe. And there are certain things that I think like have to go into it. When I make the spring roll, and my voice will come back, I immediately think the main thing that it needs is the mint and the basil. And when I have both those things in the refrigerator, I immediately think, oh, I'm going to have everything else, because everything else for me is normal in the sense of peppers, cabbage, and we'll go over all of that. Sorry for my voice. Anyway, what I was saying is that about the spring rolls, I think I just basically want to show you all how accessible. If for some reason you all forget how to do it, there are many examples on the internet, many examples. So we're going to start with the sauce, okay? You can do it in any order you want, but I want to start with the sauce because there's different kinds of sauces, and I'm going to make a peanut butter sauce, and that's the classic kind of sauce. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to all make the rolls. So hopefully everybody got the recipes, but if you didn't, for some reason, you can write to Plant Powered Metro New York, and if you registered, they will send you the recipe. So this, you need a bunch of things for the sauce. There are simpler versions, which sometimes people use hoisin sauce and just some peanut butter, but we need a number of things. We have tamari. I'm just going to show you and run through these things. We need brown rice vinegar, which I have here. Okay, we need some kind of hot sauce. I sometimes use this Cholula, and then I have this very hot sauce here. And you can use red pepper flakes. We need a little bit of tomato sauce, which this is a brand that I super love. It's called I forget what it's called, a Bio Nature, and it's yummy and good. And then we need a little bit of sweetener, and a lot of people use honey, or sometimes they use agave, but I like to use something that's whole, and the way that I sweeten things is usually with old mature dates, so we have that. We have 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter that's fresh, that has no salt in it, and is not roasted. It's a creamy peanut butter. If you've had a crunchy one, it's okay, because it's all going to end up getting smooth. We're going to need ginger, a shallot. If you didn't have a shallot, you could use a red onion. And then we just need actually 1 clove of garlic. And Okay, so we're gonna put in the Cuisinart, and if you had a blender, a NutriBullet, any blender, and you could do this by hand. It's not something that you know, it's just, if you want everything super, super smooth, then you definitely need to do it in some kind of you know, machine. Okay, so that is our peanut butter. Okay, and I'm gonna go through this, and that was 3/4 of a cup. And then we need this shallot, and shallot comes in all different sizes. Sometimes they come twice this size, and I am going to just, let's move this lid right over here. Sometimes it's a little bit crowded here on the counter. But this is the shallot. I'm going to use this whole one. It probably would yield about 1/4 cup of, and I'm just going to rough chop it, okay? Someone just let me know that they never knew the word rough chop, and I was just like, that's just a common word. And they're like, they told me they've just heard it for the first time, and I thought that was interesting because it's a real term. And rough chop means you really almost just give it a rough chop. You're not doing any kind of technique. You're not trying to dice it. You're not trying to make a julienne. You're just doing a rough chop, literally. This would be a rough chop, 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 you know, just. And I am just rough chopping it because it's just going to go into the Cuisinart and get blended, and it doesn't matter what it looks like, you know. Again, I told you this is about 1/4 cup, and I can show you that it's about 1/4 cup, okay? That's 1/4 cup. So if you were having a big shallot or you were using a little bit of red onion, just know that you need approximately 1/4 cup, okay? Again, every recipe that I always give you, I usually have to write it down because I make it up myself often. And if you had more onion or you use less, it doesn't really matter, okay? And the next thing that we need on it is we need 2 tablespoons of brown rice vinegar, and I use this organic brand that I like very much. And it's very sweet smelling and very delicious. This is a vinegar that I use a lot. When I even saute, I like it very much. And we need 2 tablespoons, so that's just going to go right in there. And I really like that I'm showing some of you this because you've all been to some of you have been to my house or been to a party and say, this is so delicious. And I'm like, you can do it too, you know, like it's not a secret. So we need 2 tablespoons of brown rice. We need 1 tablespoon of ginger, okay? And the ginger, we need 1 tablespoon. And actually, I peeled this a little bit, and I'll show you how I peeled it. I did it earlier because I was needing, but I just peel off the outer skin, okay? Just peeling the outer skin. And you might want to know, you know, how much is 1 tablespoon? I kind of eye it, honestly, and I really do make it up. I would say about 1 inch, and that's probably, this is 1 inch and, I don't know, half, and that is about how much ginger. Now, I would never put that much ginger just right in here like that. And again, if you were making this by hand, you could chop this finely. You could make this whole peanut sauce by hand. But if you have a machine, you might as well let the machine do the work. You know, there's a lot of chopping. So I'm just, again, rough chopping this, okay? And I think that's plenty of ginger, maybe just even a little too much, but I don't know, it's never going to be too much ginger, to me at least. And then we need 1 clove garlic, and I've got a big thing of garlic here, and I weighed that we put our weight on it, and we smash it like that, and we get all the nice clove out of it. And again, we're not going to chop it because it's going to get all pureed, so it's going in there too. Okay, and then we need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce or some kind of tamari sauce, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons. And this makes a lot of peanut sauce. And I have to tell you that when I run out of spring rolls, I often use during the week, if I still have sauce left over and I've run out of spring rolls, I actually just use the sauce as a way of just putting on vegetables and maybe making noodles on the side. So don't worry if you feel like you've got a lot of sauce and you run out of rolls. And the sauce is going to stay in the refrigerator for at least 5 days. So or even a whole week. So we'll keep going here. It says 1 to 2 medjool dates, and we just need a little sweetener, okay? And you want to always be careful. There is a little top here where the date grows, and I always get rid of that because it would be tough. And I don't really know how much sweetener we need, but I'm going to do like 1.5 because these are really big dates, and I tend not to like things so sweet. And then we need a little bit, we need a teaspoon of hot sauce, which is a lot actually. And I'm always careful with this, and it's better to do less and then add more, okay? Always, always better. If a recipe says 1 teaspoon and you're one of those kind of people that are a little shy about the things being hot, I would put a 1/2 teaspoon and try it out. And then at the end, if it needs more, then you put the rest, okay? Don't just, take it for granted. The recipe says this, and I'm going to do this, So I grabbed a 1/2 teaspoon, but here is now a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to do less because it could be, 1/2 teaspoon could be enough, okay? So we'll know in our heads that we have a 1/2 teaspoon hanging out in the back. And if you didn't have any hot sauce, I would definitely use just the chili flakes, the red chili flakes that you can buy that are dried. And then we need 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, okay? And I'm going to get in here, and we're just going to get this in here like that. And again, we'll just get that cleaned off. A little tip for any of you that use tomato paste, if you are opening a can or a jar of tomato paste, it can spoil really quickly. So if you're one of those people that just use 1 tablespoon and then you're not going to use it for another 3 weeks because you don't know, I would take a little pieces of foil, little square pieces of foil, and I would measure out tablespoons on that foil, and I would make little packets of foil, and then I would put all of them into the freezer. And that way you can take out a tablespoon of tomato paste at any time that you like, okay? That is a really, really good tip because it's a real drag. You open this 2 weeks later and there's a lot of mold in it, okay? It's a drag to waste it and a drag to encounter mold. And so that's my tip to you. Some people buy tomato paste in a tube for that very reason, so it's always not going to spoil in the tube. But again, this is a really lovely one because there's no added oil and no added salt. And so I really liked it. It's very delicious. Okay, and we're almost done here. And then we need 2 tablespoons of cilantro. Okay, now again, if you want, you can chop this, but I literally am going to say that this is 2 tablespoons. If you were to chop this, this is approximately 2 tablespoons. And I'm certainly not bothering to chop it. It's just going to go in there. Okay? And then we need 1 cup of water. But that is our whole recipe. And I'm going to get rid of all these things right this minute. Well, most of these things. Just clean up a little bit here. Just get rid of these things. Keep the spatula here. Get rid of these things over here. You always want flexibility and don't want to crowd yourself out in the kitchen. You want to be comfortable, because what happens is when you're working on the edge like I am right now, and I'm going to make myself a little more comfortable here, this is when the knife could fall to the ground. Something could happen, and you want to just be careful. And if a knife is ever falling to the ground, you jump back, okay? You don't try to ever catch a knife, okay? Just let it fall, okay? It will save you. It'll be better. It'll be fine. Okay, so we're going to start this really quickly and get this done. So I get all this going, and we need a cup of water, okay? So I've got a cup of water, and there's a feeder tube in this where I can pour the water. Now, a little bit like I held back on the tomato, the hot sauce, I actually go in there. I haven't used all the water yet. And I go in there and I scrape down the sides okay? And I also look for the consistency because every peanut butter is a little bit different, you know? If you were making your own peanut butter at home or compared to maybe the Trader Joe's peanut butter, which is very good, but very, very runny, right? And then sometimes you buy peanut butter that's very, very thick. So you really want to just check the consistency. And I'm going to show you what this looks like very quickly, just so you kind of see that we're like at this point with this, okay? It's a little bit runny. It's probably it can use a little more water. So we're going to carefully put this back together. I'm also going to give it a little bit of taste while I have it open. Okay, tastes peanut buttery, tastes ginger. I definitely need more hot sauce, okay? And that is something that I know that I need because it's just, the flavor's it's not spicy enough. So I have a little bit left in here, which is not much. I'm going to put that. And then I think I showed a bunch of you, if any of you have been here for my chili making. This is a very good brand. I'm just going to show it to you very close like that. And it's called Organic Harvest, okay? And this is habanero. This is very, very hot. And I would absolutely, I'm going to use a dot, one little dot. Otherwise, our mouth will be on fire, okay? I'm just going to put that, and we're just going to finish putting this in water. The water in here. And that looks good. Get some of this, I see a little bit of a hot sauce on the lid here. Get it all in there. Again, this flavor develops over time. And this is something that you can make way ahead of your spring rolls, okay? And let's just see what this tastes like now and where we're at with it. It's pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I like it. We're set. So I'm going to get rid of this Cuisinart here. And we're going to pour it into a bowl. And we're going to just hold on to it for the finished spring rolls. And just going to put it in a bowl like this for now. And we're going to just put that off to the side so we know that it's going to be there for later. And we've got a lot left. But I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to get rid of this Cuisinart here. And we're going to move on to the spring rolls, okay? And we're going to get rid of this recipe for a moment. And get rid of this. Again, always good to get everything. This is a production. You know, this is like, you know, Ford making his cars, or it is real, true production, you know? It really is. You really have to, this is when they say prep everything, this is one thing that you need to have everything all ready, because once you start the production, you just keep making roll after roll after roll. Okay, and I'm just going to get rid of some of this over here. And we're going to talk about a couple of the things that we're putting in this, okay? Like I said at the beginning, we have an array of the vegetables here. Okay, we have julienne, and I'm going to show you how to cut that. Peppers of different colors. We have scallions that have been sliced thin, and I've put them in ice water so that they would separate from themselves, so that they would be like very thin like that. We have julienne cucumbers. We have julienne carrots, and we have a lot of cabbage. Okay, that is basics. And then we also we're going to have marinated tofu. And I am not going to marinate the tofu right in front of you. Everybody has the recipe, but I want to show you, basically you're in the marinade, and I'll just tell you what I marinated it in. It's a combination of soy sauce, ginger and garlic, and a little hot sauce, a little similar to our peanut sauce. And instead of putting any kind of honey or a lot of marinades, put brown sugar, I just substitute and I use an orange, okay? And I squeeze an orange, and that makes the base of the marinade. So it's orange juice and the soy, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of ginger. And again, if you want some hot sauce, you put a little bit of chili flakes. And I just mix that liquid in a bowl, and I press the tofu, the big block of tofu, and I actually marinate it, and then I end up with big pieces. So all of this, I'm going to just show you if I were to pile this up like this. This was the block of tofu, okay? It was one big block that I cut into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, okay? And now I have these big pieces, okay? And what I'm going to do with these big pieces of tofu, and you don't have to put tofu in it. You could certainly leave it out. But I actually like the extra protein that the tofu gives you, and it also is a nice texture, okay? So I take a couple of the tofu, and I actually, for this, we want everything long and thin, and we want everything the same length, okay? And you'll learn that when we start rolling things up, because you're going to make a bed of vegetables. So I actually cut these into thirds now, okay? So basically, I'm going to have little big chunks like that. And sometimes they could be even thinner, but these are, so if every block gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I got 6 pieces out of this, and I have, and let's just see how this, you know, I'm just going to, again, make these strips, right, like this, and just cut them, and they're going to be ready, and they're just going to sit over here, and it's going to be part of our production, okay? So that's the tofu, okay? And at this point, we have the other things that are super important to this is our mint. We need fresh mint, okay? And I've got washed it, and we're going to eventually just take it off its little stems, but I kind of wanted to show you that I just had a big pile of mint here. And then I have some cilantro, which you don't have to really put it in because the sauce has some cilantro, and I know a lot of people don't like cilantro actually, so that could be left out easily. And then we have fresh basil, okay? And we have fresh basil, and it's really beautiful because this is the time. We are in the height of summer, and those of you that came to my show when I just focused on things about basil, you know, we have basil for at least another 6 more weeks, so you have plenty of time with doing that. So look at all the beautiful things we have. Before we get started, I want to just show you some cutting techniques, okay? Oh, and we also have some lettuce, some you know, it's not very big lettuce, but I want to show you that you can put lettuce in these too. I never do. I often put some nori inside, but this is extra, okay? But let me just show you a couple techniques so you understand about the cutting. So if you have a big pepper like this, okay, and we want to get just the center part, okay, so I immediately cut off the ends, okay, I cut off these ends like that, and don't throw these out, okay, put them in your scrap, and you can make salad for during the week, and you know, all of this is edible, okay, don't throw those out. So I'm going to save those, okay. And then you have to deal with the core inside. And you see how you have 3 sections, 1, 2, 3. I just kind of pretty much cut right at the sections, okay? Every pepper usually has 3 sections, okay? That's just the way, the nature of the pepper and the way that it grows. And it always has this, you know, big core of seeds, which is technically garbage or for composting, okay? And we'll just get that over here like that for now, okay? And you want to get rid of any kind of the white rib, okay? So we're just going to cut that off, okay? And again, everything's going to be the same length, okay? And I'm just going to use this, and I'm just going to cut and make thin strips, okay? That's what you're doing. And you're going to make a bunch of long, skinny strips. And everything you do from here on out, is all going to be about the same exact length, okay? Whether you're cutting a carrot or the cucumber, okay? And I'm going to show you immediately what this looks like in my hand, okay? And how thin it is, looks like that, okay? And again, we have a ton of it here. And you're ultimately trying to make equal amounts of everything so that you don't run out of the peppers, you know, and it's a drag to stop in the middle. As far as the cabbage, I just show you really quickly. This is a teeny little one, and all I do to get this cabbage is I start, the core is down here. Again, this is a little one, so there's more core than actual cabbage, but you're just gonna cut it so it's very, very thin, okay? And you're basically shredding it, okay? And that is what, and let me just show that to you so that you see what that is, okay? Very, very thin. I love cabbage during the week, actually. I love this in my salad too, so anything you have left over, you could just use. I mean, these are all salad ingredients. We're basically making a fancy salad wrapped up in a rice roll. Cucumber, again, really quickly, we want it all the same length, so I cut a little bit of it off. This, again, don't throw that away. You're going to use it in your salad at some point. And you're going to, and I always tell you not to cut when things are rolling, so you want to cut a little piece off, okay? You could eat this. I'm not going to eat this because I was choking a few minutes ago, but I would put this in my mouth normally and snack on it, but we're not doing that at this moment. And then you immediately have a flat bottom, okay? These are Persian cucumbers. You could use the long English cucumbers. If you were to use the normal cucumbers that a lot of us see in the regular grocery store, I would probably peel the wax off of those cucumbers because often they're not so nice and they're waxy. And then I would peel out the seeds with a spoon, or with a spoon is usually how I do it. Okay, because that would be too much water. But these little Persian cucumbers have almost teeny little seeds, and they're not going to cause any problems. Again, we're going to just make slices, okay, slices, thin slices, okay, and then if you feel comfortable, again, until you get good with your hands and your knife skills, I would normally pile a big high stack, and I would just cut. But if you don't feel comfortable, then I really suggest you make the littlest pile. It could even just be one slice like this. No one's standing there watching you, you know. I would just sit there and cut one at a time like that, okay? It's not, again, it's not hard, and you end up, and again, if you have two and you feel comfortable putting two on top of each other and cutting like that, then ideally that's the best. And that's how you cut your carrots too. And I'm going to just show you again how thin that is and that they look like that, okay? And we're not peeling these because this skin is beautiful, and ultimately the spring roll is about color, you know, so you want to keep the color, okay? The next thing, I do want to just show you the carrot, okay? And I know it's a little repetitive, but you have a big long carrot, okay? So the very first thing you want to do is, how long is everything else? Oh, I'm going to measure, it's about this long, the peppers are this long. So I'm going to cut my carrot immediately into the smaller pieces. And I have an end, and that's going to be for salad later on in the week. Again, not garbage. Could go into stock if you wanted, but I would definitely don't throw it out. Just like I've just told you 5 minutes ago, no rolling carrot, okay? We're going to cut off a piece of it, okay? Piece of it. This makes kind of weird stripes, so I may even get rid of that. We have a flat bottom, okay? And we're going to cut, okay? And this is a really fat carrot, and it's actually going to it's going to give us a lot of yield, actually. This one piece of carrot is going to give us a lot of yield, and this is a yucky piece. So again, look at, we have these flat pieces. They're like playing cards, right? They're flat. They're really thin. You can see that, okay? And just like what I've just explained to you, you could pile all this on top and cut, but if you're not comfortable, and until you build your knife skills and you feel comfortable, just do what you feel comfortable. And it's okay to just sit here and cut thin strips, okay? Again, it's fine to do that, okay? I like piling them all up because I'm just wanting it to be done, okay? And again, the last thing here for you to see are these carrots, okay? And here is these, okay? And you see that they're very thin. You can see they're these are called matchsticks. They're also called julienne, but they're really matchsticks. And you see how they look when they look like that, when they're all piled up? Once everything gets into our spring roll, that's gonna be the angle. Okay, so we are now ready for production. Oh, and we also, the other one thing that I like putting in, again, not necessary, it is really an optional thing. I very much like putting avocado, okay? These things I kind of consider essential that we did, the cabbage, the peppers, and what is optional to me is the avocado. So if you didn't have one, I certainly wouldn't worry. You saw that I just cut this in half. Oh, and it's a good one. It's always a surprise, you know, like I'm always like, woohoo, I didn't let it spoil, and it's actually a really good one. You know, it's always a guessing game here sometimes. I lived in California for a long time, and I was very spoiled by avocados. But here in New York, sometimes I buy them, and I don't know, I just never know. So I've just taken a spoon, and I've just taken that out, okay? And you see, it's like this now. It's like that. You can do this one of two ways if you feel good enough, and you can take this out and take it out like that, okay? Or you could just get it out, okay? In another way, you know, just take it out by digging it out. But let's get this. And I'm only going to do one avocado. If all the rolls don't have avocado, it's okay. And the other thing that I super love putting in it, while the season is still here, if you're making spring rolls, you know, really soon, the season is still happening for these beautiful Alfonso Mangos, which I really love. And often, I kind of choose whether I'm putting the mango or the avocado. You could put both, but this is so wet and this is so slippery wet that I kind of like it's one or the other. But I just wanted to tell you that I definitely put these in. And if someone wanted me to really show you right this minute how to cut this open, I am more than happy to, but we're gonna move on. But if someone writes in the chat that they don't know how to do it, I'd be happy to show you. Or you can also just Google, how do I cut it? How do I cut a papaya? Okay, but I just wanted that to show you. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is get a little plate here, and we're going to just slice these here like this, and we're just, sometimes I put a little bit of lemon if I feel like I'm going to be slow at doing this, but I think we're going to move through all of rolling pretty quickly. You could put a squeeze of lemon if you think that you're going to be having the avocado cut in advance, but that's good enough. Okay, and I'm just going to, so we have everything we need, and I usually keep the cutting board close because we usually need it. And I'm just going to give it a really quick whisk, okay, just really quick. And I also want to tell you there are two other things that we use. And again, you don't need to use the Vietnamese, the vermicelli noodles, but it gives it a really lovely texture. And I super love them. And there are directions on how to cook. Every vermicelli bag has the instructions. Sometimes they tell you to boil water and just pour on top. I did a lazy method because my sink has very, very hot water. And so I literally just took a big bowl like this and I put the vermicelli noodles in, covered them with water, and voila, I get these noodles that look like this, okay? Now, what I do really quickly with these noodles is I give them a rough chop. Let's just get this knife clean. And I give it a rough chop because ultimately, when you're filling this up, it just helps to have things smaller. So I just, again, we went over what a rough chop is, and I just give it like 3 little chops, you know, and now when you pick things up, things are smaller and shorter, okay? And that helps so when the roll, someone's biting into it and they're not like, whoa, there's like a really long noodle, you know? So it kind of, if you forget the step of cutting the noodles, it's really okay, but you'll notice it when someone's eating and it's like forever, it's, you know, going on for a long time. So we're gonna get rid of this and we're going to get the very hot water. This is a production, as I said, and we're gonna get the rice noodles. Now, some people like to use a pie pan, but I very much like this bowl. And I'm going to try to get rid of some of these things here so that we actually have space. And I'm going to show you the Vietnamese rolls, okay? This is what they look like here, okay? And they're white, okay? I'm just showing you. This is one brand. I brought a backup brand today. They're very inexpensive. They're practically like I think if you were to price it out, this is, I don't know how many, but each little wrapper is like 20 cents. You know, it's like a very inexpensive, this is a very inexpensive meal, okay? And if we need more, we have this package here, okay? So we're going to, again, make room. I want you to see as much as possible, okay? It's a very, let's see, I'm gonna move the noodles over here by the stove so that you can see everything is here, okay? And we're going to, these are fragile, so also when you get them home, you want to, I'm always very careful at how I store them in the cabinet. You want to store them flat, and even when they're coming home from the grocery store, I actually make sure they stay on the top because they can break really easily. So they look like that right now, okay? And we're just going to put these over here. And I'm so funny, I'm so used to working over there in my kitchen that everything usually has a spot. So when I make these so much that I feel a little bit like, what's this doing over here? And we're going to put this now, this piece, we're gonna put this in the water, okay? And we're only gonna put it in the water for a very few seconds, okay? Very few seconds. And so that you can see it's still hard, okay? And I'm gonna move this water for a minute and I'm gonna put it on the stove, okay? And I'm gonna put it right directly on my counter, okay? I might use a towel for you to see better, but let me just start doing it and then hopefully you can see that I'm putting it on the counter, okay? It's a little, it's wet, okay? And the very first thing is that I get the leaves here, the mint and the basil, and I just get some of it, and I like decorating actually. And I make a few stripes. This is my own little technique that I like. A lot of times these rolls have shrimp in it, and they, you know, kind of show the shrimp on the outside, but I don't eat any fish, so I make the decoration with the herbs, okay? And I do some basil, and then I actually tear the mint, and I'm kind of like making little stripes. You know, that's basically, and sometimes I put a little bit close by to me, but I do most of the decorating at the end, at the far away from me, okay? And we just leave that there. And then I immediately start to make piles. And we're gonna make a tiny little, we're gonna make a bed basically. And on this, and we're gonna put it 1/3 closest to me, okay? So I have the noodles. They're a little wild and crazy here, okay? The next thing I do, and I think about the color a little bit, okay? I'm gonna make a bed and and you don't wanna overstuff anything. And you'll learn, you'll figure it out. Because if you overstuff it, they just burst. And I do it all the time because I get carried away. So I'm gonna make a little bed. I'm gonna probably put 2 little julienne pieces of pepper. I'm gonna put some onion, I think the green looks nice next to the red. And I'm going to put the cucumber also in there. Again, I'm going to put some carrots. And again, I'm putting the carrot away from the red pepper. Okay, it's all just kind of piling. And then I want to put the piece of tofu on top. Okay, and we also have the avocado. So have we done everything? I think so. Now this is pretty big actually, but we'll see how it goes. The very first thing we want to do, and if it gets stuck to the counter, I just get a knife. And I just lift it up a little bit. And that happens sometimes, okay? And I'm just going to cover it, and I'm just going to, it's like a bed. It's like a burrito if you've ever rolled a burrito, but you're going to take the top part, and you're going to fold it over the filling, okay? And you're basically going to contain it. And then you're going to take the sides, whoops, and it's starting to get a little sticky, and it's going to tear. And you're going to fold one side in, okay? And then you're going to fold another side in, okay? So now you've got the left and the right side folded in, and then you're going to tight. It's like you're going to make it tight as if you were making a really nice tight roll, and you're going to roll it tight, 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 and this is your roll. And you see why the pepper is, the green is here, and I made little stripes, and we'll make a bunch of them together, but I do want to show you just for a moment, and we can do this. I want to make a couple more so you see the technique, but I also want you to see what the inside looks like, okay? You see how pretty that is? And often, how would I serve that? We're just gonna, for this moment, we're just gonna put two right here, okay? And we're gonna move this cutting board. And I'm actually gonna try it on a towel for you because I don't know if you can see so well on the counter. And I have a clean towel, relatively clean towel here. I'm gonna flip it around now that I see. And I'm gonna try this on the towel so that you can see better. And again, we're gonna take the roll, okay, and we're gonna put it in the water just for a few seconds, not very long. Oh, and we didn't put any cilantro inside. We could put cilantro. Again, you see it's kind of still hard, okay? I'm gonna put it down on the towel. You can see it better now. I think it's better for you. We're gonna take the noodles. And again, the noodles are these noodles today are very slippery. They're a little out of control. I think we're gonna use some cilantro in this one, okay? We didn't do that before. And we're gonna just mix up the order. I think this time, here I'm putting the tofu, I'm putting the peppers. Again, you see how everything is centered and everything is lining up, okay? And I'm gonna take some cucumbers, and we're going to, again, I'm doing this all very slowly, but once you get into production of it, you just move along. I mean, there's no wasted time here. And then I'm just gonna put this on top, okay? And I didn't put any of the basil, and that's okay. The basil is essential to this. It really is what makes the flavor. And you can buy regular basil. They also make, Thai basil. You could try it with the purple basil. Some of you might grow that in your yards that have, big yards with herbs growing in. And the mint is so delicious in it. You could just, as far as I'm concerned, you could never have enough mint. And then, I don't know, there are people that don't like onions, but I like the onions in it. And again, you don't have to do, if there's something you don't like, you don't have to do it. Now, this is not usually how I do this on a towel, but let's just see how it goes. And it's very sticky, you see. It's not going to be my favorite technique. I can see that already. Like, we're not doing that again. I can see that it's being really ornery and really, really, it's ornery. And it's not wanting to gather itself and stay tight. So I prefer the counter. And I only did the towel so that you all could see. Again, you want to have it really tight. And this is not going to be tight enough. I can feel the way that it's going. We are definitely not doing that technique again. But it's okay. It's not a crisis. It still works. It's just not as tight, okay? I would like to have it a little tighter than that. Okay, so we're gonna just make a couple more, and I'm gonna get rid of this towel. I don't like that method at all. I do see that it's recommended sometimes, but I actually really like my counter. And we are going to get this here, get these noodles. Again, I kind of get it all going. Get the basil. And I get, again, we're 1/3. We're not in the middle. We're not on the edge. We're kind of 1/3 back here. Putting the not big pieces of basil, just a little bit. We can put a little bit of cilantro. We're going to put a little bit of mint. And the next one that we make, we'll use a little bit of the lettuce, okay? And this time I'm going to put the avocado down first, actually. And then a piece of tofu, okay? And we're going to put some cabbage and peppers, okay? Cucumbers, carrots, just some carrots, and the scallions, okay? And then we're gonna see how that picks up on the counter. Way, way better. And then we're gonna fold this in, and then we're gonna fold this in like this, and then we're gonna wrap it and we're gonna roll it as tight as possible. Tighter, the better. Okay, you see? I'm just showing you. We're gonna make 1 or 2 more and then we'll cut them in half. But I do want to just do it a couple times because I just think it is a technique, and there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of practice, okay? And I really like these for lunch, and I love them for dinner. I like them for appetizers. Wendy, when she goes on a plane, I actually make them for her plane ride, you know, because it's a great snack. And the way that you store them, you always want to put them in a container, like a Tupperware or, you know, a sealed container. But what happens is when you have like 20 of them, they all want to stick together, okay? And so ideally, if you were saying, I'm not going to serve these until tomorrow, or you're giving them to your friend who's going on a plane, you ultimately want to wrap each one of them in saran wrap. Okay, and that's the way to keep them the most fresh. But if I were going to a dinner party tonight, I would probably put them all in a container, and I would put some saran wrap on one layer and then make another layer of them. And they sometimes do get stuck together, but you just have to be careful. So let's, maybe we'll try one with the lettuce, okay? Because that's what we're gonna, and these are not a very big lettuce. And I don't usually make them with lettuce. I often make them with nori for any of you that like nori. And I think this lettuce is going to go this way. I think we're going to put it down, and I kind of broke its spine a little bit. You know how the lettuce has a rib, and I've broken its spine so it's ready to move and roll, okay? And I think the green with the purple is going to be just beautiful. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we don't need so many noodles because we've got the lettuce. We're definitely putting avocado. Let's put the avocado. I love the tofu, okay? And then we're going to, again, put our peppers. We have a lot of peppers here. You can see, and we have cucumber and carrots, okay? And, whoops, it's going all over the place. Again, try not to overstuff them, okay? It's better for you to make them smaller. And then we're going to put a little bit of cilantro, just because I like cilantro. And we're always going to put the mint. Again, I put a little bit of striping. That's my technique. You don't have to do that. You could just do it like that. You don't have to make the stripes. You could just say, I want some basil in there, and just put it wherever you like. It's really okay. Okay, we're going to take the end, and we're going to contain it. Okay, immediately tight it, keep it tight. And what's really good about the bib lettuce or the nori, if you use nori, and you would just use a strip of nori, is that it gives it some structure to it, okay? And you'll see when we cut it open that it actually helps it a lot, okay? this gets closed. One side gets closed. The other side gets closed. You know, I don't know if any of you make burritos, but I've made enough blintzas in my life to really get this technique down. Okay, and then if you roll it, and that's that. So we've got a lot of carrots out here, but I think that's the way that looks, okay? And I'm gonna cut it and show it to you because this one is different, okay? And we're going to cut this, and so I wanna show you that it looks different than the others, okay? It's got the lettuce. You see how that's cut pretty, right? And it's got the lettuce all the way around. I think we'll make one more of those just so you kind of see how, and I'm actually, while I'm here, oops, they're kind of, I'm gonna make one more and then we'll pretty much done. I mean, and we'll answer questions, and we have a lot of, we even have time if somebody really needed to see how a mango is cut. But let me just get this paper. Again, here it is. We're putting it down. The counter's wet. Okay, it is wet. I'm getting to put my basil down because that's what I like doing. I like putting, and I always, the basil's starting to be very large right now, so I kind of tear it in half, and I kind of give it little stripes. You know, for me, when I'm cooking, and I always remind everyone, we all eat with our eyes, and we have the color of the rainbow here. It's absolutely beautiful, and we might as well make it really pretty, right? So I'm gonna do the lettuce thing. We'll do one more with the lettuce, okay? And I just want you to understand that there's no, you can't make mistakes here, okay? And I can only encourage you to really try, because the only way you're gonna get good with your cutting technique is to practice. And the only way you're gonna get good with your rolling technique is to practice, okay? And the reason that I'm able to do it is because I've done it a million times, okay? And so just please try it for one time, and you'll see that it actually works. And I've got a lot of tofu here, and I really like it, actually. If this was it, it could be it. But again, you don't have to put every single thing in it. I just like this variety, okay? And that's all I'm going to put in this one. Oh, I like the avocado. I think the avocado's nice, okay? And we're going to, again, take the plate, the one that's closest to me, behind the side that's closest to my stomach, and it's like putting to bed, you know, like tuck it in. You're going to tuck it in, and you're going to make it tight. And then you're going to grab, I'm grabbing, this is my left hand, and I'm going to grab the left hand side, and I'm going to fold it in. You see it sticks, it's like glue. And then you're going to fold in, and that's my right side, okay? Look how nice that is. And then you're going to pull it towards you a little bit and get it tight, okay? And tight, 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 tight. And there you go. You see? This is a very green one because it's got the bib lettuce, and it's got the basil, and it's got the mint, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I think we've got enough for, you know, a couple servings. I often bring them to parties just like this, and I let people take them and eat them and dip them themselves. But if you want to be, you know, kind of fancy and you want to spread things out, you cut them in half, and let me just show you how to cut those. I just want to do that a bunch of, I want to do a bunch with ours, and I'm cutting them in half just because it's a way of spreading things out, and that way if you're going to a party, this is definitely probably how I would do it. Now this one wasn't so tight, and you can kind of see it's a little bit loose, and probably when you bite it, actually. So I want to just show you what this looks like, and I'm going to try to show you how this looks. Okay, do you see how pretty that is? And probably what I would do, I have the bowl that matches here, the bowl, and this is the sauce, okay? And I would put it on the table, obviously, I would probably serve this right next to this, and I would get a small plate. Everybody would have their small plates, and they would take theirs, just their one thing like this, and I probably would get a spoon, and sometimes I would put a few little peanuts on top of the sauce to make it look nice, and maybe I would put a little bit of cilantro as decoration so that it looked like this. Okay, and then it's nice to have the sauce, and you just pour it on, okay, and then you're ready to eat, and you're ready to bite in, and yummy, yummy, yummy. I wish all of you were here. I have a ton left over. I really miss everyone being in my space. Since COVID, you know that we've all been web learning. I really thank all of you for coming today, and I'm super glad that you joined us. There's one more, I will do one more demo before the summer ends. Plant Powered Metro is taking a little bit of a break at the end of the August month. So we're gonna skip a Sunday, and on Sunday, August 9th, I'm gonna have the last class of the summer, but hopefully we'll be back in September is what I'm planning. And I think we're doing all desserts next Sunday, August 9th. And they're gonna be cold desserts because I've not been turning on my oven to do any kind of baking. So I've already conceived that. It's a little dangerous for me to be telling you what we're doing in 2 weeks, because if I see some really beautiful eggplant and corn and the summer is at the height at the market, and if I end up wanting to make you a savory something or another, then desserts go out the door. But that is the plan right now, and I will leave Wendy to finish the end of the questions, and hopefully everyone understood, and I'm just encouraging everyone to not be fearful of any of these techniques. They're all very simple, and it just takes practice, and then you can go and bring spring rolls to your friend's house, and everyone will say, wow, how awesome, how did you make those? And you'll just say, oh, I did that, you know, so it will be okay.
Carole, thank you so much. I think all of us, our mouths are watering to come join you and have those rolls. They look delicious, and I'm enjoying them vicariously. I'm sure everyone else is too. Couple questions that came up. One, obviously you can serve this as an appetizer. Would you serve this as a main course? And if so, what would you serve it with?
That's a very, I don't know who's asking that, but they are smart to ask that question. And I probably, first of all, I eat this whole meal. I eat this a lot for lunch, and I eat like 4 of them, you know? So honestly, I would eat like many of them just for a whole meal. Because what's wrong? It's a salad. It's a salad wrapped up, okay? But what goes with salad? Maybe you're gonna have a bowl of soup or something. I don't know what kind of soup. If it's summertime, maybe I just made corn chowder a couple weeks ago. You could serve a soup. You could serve, I don't know, I'm just thinking you could serve another, I wouldn't serve a salad. You could make a bean salad. You could make some kind of bean salad, or you could make some broccoli and cauliflower as a side, just a side vegetable. You know, a cold cauliflower and broccoli salad. Or just not even a salad, just steamed broccoli and cauliflower, and have that as a side, because that's delicious with the peanut sauce too. And that's what I was trying to tell at the beginning. If you end up with a lot of peanut sauce during the week, you could definitely just use this to pour over your vegetables, and you could make some noodles, you could make some zoodles with zucchini, and this peanut sauce and a bunch of vegetables.
Gorgeous. And there is a request to for the mango. I just want to let everyone know we are going a little bit over. So if you need to go, thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And please tune into the plantpoweredmetronewyork.org site, the web series, to check out the oncoming series. And as Carole mentioned, we'll be back on August 9th. But if you'd like to stay for the mango cutting, it's not just the mango, but how do you cut the mango in strips?
Right, I understand that, and I'm going to show you really carefully right now. There's a couple ways, and while we're doing this, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to try to show you 2 different ways on one mango. I've been eating so many mangoes. So, you know, I like talking about the mango because there's a big pit that runs vertically, okay? Every stone fruit, you know the direction, and I think I've talked about this when you have a peach, right? When you have a peach, you don't cut the peach. You cut the peach because you follow the line, the little crease. You don't cut the peach going the opposite way. You cut the peach, and I know we're not cutting peaches, but the fact is you always follow the line, okay? That's all I'm telling you. You follow the line. Okay, so this, I'm going to try to show you 2 different ways. I'm trying to, and it's a little crazy what I'm trying to show you, but I'm actually going to peel half of it because this is the way I like doing it, maybe not the way everybody likes doing it. Okay, so I just used a peeler, okay, and I now have exposed half. The other half still has the skin on it, okay? Half. And I'm going to run my knife and I'm going to feel exactly, I'm going to run my knife just like we did the corn on the cob. If any of you feel the spine, you feel the pit, and you're just going to run your knife along that piece, okay? My knife is up against that very hard stone. You hear it? That's a stone. That's the big, pithy part. Now look, we have a beautiful piece of mango, just ready to go, okay? Again, we want it to be the same size, but we would make our strips. I probably, because it's like the avocado, it's high, I probably would cut it like this so that it's a flatter, and then I would make, this is a little long for our things, but I would just cut it like this and make the strips like this, and I probably would cut it one more time, but I'm just going to show you in my hand so you can see that they're strips. These are strips, okay? You see that? They're like that. They're a little longer than everything else I have, so if I were to use these this very moment in these rolls, I probably would cut this in half, okay? And they'd be shorter, but it would go inside. So again, we use the peeling technique, and we still have the other half a mango, the other half, and we'll just cut that into strips, okay, like that. The other alternative way, now this is my favorite way, the way I showed you with the peeler, okay, but I'm going to show you the other alternative way is you take it and you've left the skin on, you see I still have the little label on, and you're going to, again, be careful because it's wobbly, okay, and I'm running the back of my knife along the thing, okay, and this is the stone. This is a huge stone. There's still meat on this, okay? This is the part that you don't show anybody that you're in the kitchen, and to me, this is I don't know, it's like when the dog gets its tongue into the bone of a marrow, or it's kind of gross to talk about a bone right now when we're talking about whole food plant-based, but it's the savory, yummy part. This is the part you want to put your tongue into and just blah, 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 blah. So I love this part. There's still some meat on this, and I usually trim it off, but I'm only trimming it off, you know, to get more, but I never throw away this pit without sucking on the whole pit because there's still quite a bit of, it's like a corn on the cob. Sometimes you don't get all the corn out and you just have to pull it out. And this part is yummy, very yummy. I never throw that out. People do that also when they cut a pineapple. The core part of the pineapple, some people love munching on that ridge, that part that's in the center. That's what this is too. There's a lot of meat on it. When you pull on it, you use your teeth and it's delicious. But back to this, we still have the skin on it, and I would cut it like in strips. I think I showed you this when we made some mango salsa, only I'm cutting this really much thinner. You see how this is like this now? You see it's all thin? They're all pieces. And then you can take a spoon, actually. You can actually take a spoon and you can get it out of the, if the spoon doesn't do it, you can take a knife, and then you run. It's just like the avocado, right? And you're just kind of going. This is not as hard as their avocado. That's why I like the peeling method better. And then you end up with these strips like this.
Beautiful.
That's that.
Excellent. Thank you. That just looks delicious and mouth-watering.
Oh my God. And now I have to make them. While I'm talking to you, I have to make one more while I'm talking to you.
Sounds good. So I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to the chat where we have our link to the Plant Powered Metro New York series. And if you aren't already on our mailing list, please sign up and join our website. You can also join us on Facebook and Instagram at ppmny.org, where we also have very active communities of people posting and sharing recipes.
I actually really love the mango. It's one of my favorites, actually. But you know, the mango, I could put the avocado, but I don't put so many slips. But I love the mango. It's one of my favorites. Again, the technique. Close to my stomach, tuck it in like a bed, right? Over with the left. If you're right-handed first, you do the right hand. Doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Hip that, and then tight. It's important to be tight. Tight, tight, tight. The tighter, the better, okay? And then we're going to bring the knife back. Oh, and I love the mango. I love the mango so much. I'm glad someone asked. And that's
also,
what...
quick correction. It's Carole at The Veggie Vanguard.
Yes, at The Veggie Vanguard, correct.
TheVeggieVanguard.com.
Yes,
sorry. Great. I'll post the link in the chat.
And then I just got to show you these one last time, okay? And that's it. And thank you so much for joining us all these past weeks. And we've got one more left before we take a hiatus. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Carole. Terrific. You're getting all kinds of notices here. Thank you. Thank you.